Hey, my name is Luke Fletcher, and I am the cinematographer and writer of Hiding Quiet, and I just wanted to kind of give you guys a quick inside look on the behind the scenes and making of this film. I also got the director, Jared Wood, to hop on and make a video as well, so I'm kind of just gonna edit between these two videos, and we'll give you an inside look on how we made the film.
That's a great point, Luke. You can just insert that as like a transition shot or whatever. Hey guys, my name is Jared Wood, and I was the co-writer and director of this film, and hopefully I can just give a little bit of insight into the behind the scenes. For the writing process, Luke and I took a tour of the sheriff's office and asked a lot of questions.
And we saw the offices, fingerprint testing, the jail cells, all just very standard police stuff. And then we got to their training facility, and it was like nothing I have ever seen before. And when they started telling us, how much training they do, and these drills that they'll do where they'll create real life situations and then have their officers react to that, immediately I was like, all right, this is something that we really want to highlight in the video. And it was actually like on the way back from that meeting that Jared and I kind of came up with like a very similar idea. So then what we did was Jared wrote his script and I wrote my script. And we do that so that nobody's being influenced by the other person, and we can just write the best script that we can. So we'll take elements of both and kind of put them together and make an even stronger script from that. So the next step was figuring out how are we going to simulate this gunfight. I wanted it to be meaty, and when a gun goes off, it destroys everything in its path. A muzzle flash is easy to fake, but the shell ejection, the smoke, the recoil from a gun, like that stuff is nearly impossible to fake in the computer. So we got a blank firing gun, and then we got Sweeney hits, and they're basically just empty paintballs without any paint in them. And you can buy them either totally empty, or you can buy them with like a gray powder in them. So after doing some testing, I found that the best look was using empty paintball rounds and then filling them up with powdered concrete and then filling up others with cap gun rounds. And that is kind of what made that spark look. So then Jared and I went back to the set another day, and with our written script, we now started blocking out how the scene would actually go down and moving furniture where we needed it and making it work for the script we had written.
Just doing a little spring cleaning.
I don't know if there's a technical term for it, but I've heard it called crap-o-matic. So we filmed one of those where I played every role and Luke filmed it. And that way we were able to edit together, kind of get a idea of how the whole film would be cut together and where each person would be and who would be looking where and everything. Especially for complex scenes like this, it's very helpful.
Then we made a list of all props we would need to get because the training facility was pretty much just bare and we needed it to look a lot more like a real house. And then I also took a bunch of pictures of the set so that I can make it in Cinetracer and then figure out where all the lighting was gonna go. I like to always try to light as much as possible before the day of shooting. That way you can give that to your gaffer, and that is a great baseline for the lighting. And that allows for the crew to have something to do instead of just like waiting around for the DP to figure out what the heck he wants to do.
Better if we keyed him from this side.
Get yourself some.
Well, we could just have that, like that windows coming in.
So then the day before shooting, we got a small crew together and we pre-lit the entire set and got it probably about 90% of the way there.
I don't like it. You like it?
You don't like it?
And then we set up all the props, we painted the walls.
Jared, were you previously a painter? Because I've never seen that technique before.
Go like really neat.
Yep.
Those in the corner.
Room and shoot it over. Maybe. Or are you showing that?
We put appliances in, things we could destroy, we put posters up, we wrapped the wooden bar in a concrete wallpaper.
Amy has zero patience.
Yeah, I do.
Even with like her nailing that nail in right now. It's just like, bro, chill for a second.
I'm like, it's not straight, but I don't care.
So like 3 years ago, we met Charles because he was our Waffle House waiter. And I guess he heard us talking at the table about a film we had just shot. And he came over and was like, hey, I'm an actor. And I remember just thinking that I liked his look. And so then 3 years later, as I'm writing the script, I actually thought of him, and then he saw the listing on 800 Casting and he sent in an audition tape. I think in the first one, he was just kind of going off of the lines too much.
I'm protecting this house!
Get EMS on their way. Rick, put it down.
Shut up! Shut up! Shut up!
I think that's a big problem that actors have. The person reading the lines to them, they're doing it too slow, and it's forcing the actor in the audition to not be able to respond right away, and it's kind of not letting them really get into the character. So our note to him was just don't have anybody read. I just want to see you go crazy.
Get out of here! Get up! Stop! Shut up!
Rick, this is your last warning!
I'll admit, going into it, I was the most worried about Aaron, the main officer, since he is actually an officer. He's the head of the SWAT team at the Lancaster Sheriff's Department. He looks perfect for the role, but he is a police officer and not an actor, and that definitely worried me a little bit. We assumed, you know, he's been in situations like this, but there are times in the film where, you know, like with the kid and stuff, we needed him to be more compassionate, or there were times where we wanted him to be a little bit more scared. But Aaron came in and was super willing to, you know, let us have a lot of input and guide his performance.
Rick, put the gun down now!
Yeah, that was good. That's authoritative.
Takes direction well now.
And one really great thing is that we didn't have to worry about him doing any procedural things wrong.
It's quite often where if an officer doesn't do something like that, the person knows the officer's scared and they're not going to shoot him, and they're going to reload and they're going to shoot you.
Yeah.
So gaining that ground lets them know that I'm going to put hands on him.
Yeah. I think very quickly got into the swing of things, got very comfortable with taking direction and, you know, just acting in general. Action!
Drop the gun, Brandon! Get away from me! Drop the gun, Brandon! Drop it!
You also called him Brandon.
I did! He put it in my head!
Did you call me Brandon?
I did! Brandon. Sorry.
So I think Bakari really helped Aaron with his acting, and then Aaron was really able to help Bakari just know proper police procedure. And so the two really just worked super well together.
Rick! Come on, man, we're here to help!
I was like, yeah, that's enough. Jeez.
I was like, oh, these are all good.
Like, he's giving you everything.
Let's see how much he's got in him.
Rick, please! So we watched a ton of the show Cops and a lot of body cam footage to just kind of give us ideas of real situations, and something that through and through makes the videos just so much more stressful is when there is somebody panicking in the background that really does not need to be in the situation whatsoever. So Melanie's character was just able to add that extra element of chaos to the film, and she really just did such a great job.
I think sometimes little things like just throwing a cup of water or you're hitting a plate or something adds just even a little bit more production value somehow. It feels more real. It doesn't feel like, oh, this is a set where nothing can be touched, nothing can be moved. It's just, you know, we're letting the actors just go at it and just, hey, do whatever you want. Obviously we keep safety parameters, but we want to allow those little moments to happen so that you get this like chaotic scene and it feels more real and more visceral.
Earplugs in.
Sound guy with earplugs in.
First experience, man, ever doing anything like this. Pretty cool stuff, being exposed to this. And this is hard work. I got to respect for people that do this.
So that was our first day of shooting, and that was by far the hardest day. Usually you really shouldn't start on your hardest day of shooting, but that's just kind of how it had to go for the shoot. The next days of shooting were much easier. So we started with Aaron walking out of the house holding Eli, and then we went to a different location to film the interior of the house because it was super important for the lighting and camera movement to look similar to the training scene.
I
I'm honestly not sure what kind of call would require this many cops, but we wanted the scene to feel really big, so we just used as many officers as we possibly could. We were even able to get the Lancaster EMS out to help, so that was incredibly nice of them to donate their time to us. This shot was originally just gonna be a stationary stick shot, but I'm really glad we switched it up on the day of shooting to Steadicam. I think it just fits a lot better in the film.
That's a wrap on this. Great job, everybody. Good job. Woo!
Eli, give me 5, buddy.
And then we wrapped the day just shooting the lab scene. So that was, day 2 was very easy. I think it was probably only like a 10-hour day, if even that.
7 times the amount required by law.
We started the next morning with the SWAT team. The set just felt ridiculously safe having those guys around.
You guys just keep this safe for me. Got it.
We timed it for the morning so that the sun would be nicely backlighting them as they crossed the street.
So that they can only improve each and every day.
Again. I actually got that stance like you're about to do it, you know what I mean?
Sheriff's office!
Luke, we may have messed up the floor a little.
Jared, did you fart on the floor?
This shot of the door cost me $200 and it ended up not looking very cool, so we had to cut it. So I just kind of wanted to show it to you. So usually in films, you're gonna wanna take advantage of your blue hour or your sunset each day. And so I knew that I wanted the scene where he's running away from the cops to take place during blue hour. So in order to be able to do that, we started setting up for the canine scene that would be taking place at night as we waited for the sun to go down. And then once we were finished and had all the lighting set, we then went to the scene where we were gonna do the running. We could have paid an actor to be the one that gets tackled, but our key grip, Daniel Fabrizio, was super down, so we got elbow pads and knee pads on him. I thought we were probably gonna only do the tackle like 1 or 2 times, but it just kept getting better and better, and the police officer was just like hitting him a little bit harder each time. And so finally by like the 7th take, we were like, all right, that's enough. We got it. Then once we wrapped with that, we moved on to the canine scene. We used our gaffer Josh's car because he had a giant dent in it, and it just kind of felt right for a guy with heroin in his car.
We train our officers over.
Working at a canine unit gave me a new respect for how powerful those dogs are. He had this toy, like once he did the thing he was supposed to do, the officer would throw him the toy. At one point, the toy bounced over next to one of our stands, which had a sandbag like this, which is like 30-35 pounds. And I think the dog kind of thought, hey, maybe this is a toy. He picks this 30-pound bag up with his teeth and just starts whipping it about like it's nothing. I think after that, we all took a few steps back.
Right, that's where I had my weed.
Luke and I have been working on stuff for about 5 years now, and I think this turned out to be maybe one of the best crews that we had. Overall, just a super fun set to be on, and we made just a ton of great memories.
I am just super happy with how this film turned out. The cast and the crew were just perfect for this film. The Lancaster County Sheriff's Office were so cool and just so easy to work with. Making a film like this is honestly just such a dream, and I am so thankful to everyone who was involved in it. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video. And you know, if you want to, you could comment or